Greetings to all of humanity. It's really a joy, it's a pleasure. It's my honor as usual, greeting you and always bring this message of emancipation to you, where I'm pointing you to look not a place, but to look inwardly to discover that your real identity is your divinity. Now, I want to speak to you concerning how Neville Goddard spoke about me before his death. But just before I go in to that topic, I just want to remind you, if you haven't gotten your 66 books of magic, the Overcomer's Bible already, I'm encouraging you to get that book on Amazon, because that's the Bible you're supposed to be reading around this time if you believe in the message of Abdullah, the black mystic from Ethiopia, and Neville Goddard. And in that Bible, there's a blank space for you to write your name next to the Christ, because Jesus was omitted, the idol was removed, and you will be able to accept the Bible as your spiritual autobiography that must be interpreted psychologically. Therefore, when you do that, Jesus will hold no power to any race, but you will make the Christ your experience by claiming that experience and putting your name next to that experience, so that you would come in to that experience. Now, Neville said before he left this world that there is a man who would come after him and would teach the message and continue the message. Now, the message was based on the law and the promise. And when I come to the recognition of who I am, it happened by me having the experience of the promise first. I wasn't into anything like love attraction and all of these kind of things. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know what was really happening in my life. All I knew since I was a little boy growing up, many preachers would say to me that I was called out, I was set apart, and that I was going to be used mightily by the Almighty. Now, I came forth in this dimension 1971, and Neville departed 1972. He knew that his time was up, and he knew someone had to come and take the baton. That's the reason why I always point you to look back to the Bible, for Neville taught the Bible. And Neville didn't think himself being religious for speaking about the Bible and quoting the Bible. But many today who are actually imposters, they're hiding behind the message of Neville, and they're always saying that they don't want to sound religious. And many are using the message just to gain a buck. And Neville would have said it before, that the ministers, when he said ministers, he wasn't speaking about the church leaders. He was speaking about those who would take the message and just use it to try to make a profit out of others. Those who would just be bound in the law. For example, I heard a YouTuber saying that Neville Goddard was the founding father of the law of attraction. And I look at him and ask myself, if he doesn't know that Abdullah was Neville Goddard's mentor. As a matter of fact, he had the name Abdullah on the title of his video. I can't quite remember if how Abdullah taught Neville Goddard, something like that. Or what Abdullah taught Neville Goddard, something like that. I can't quite, but it's some radio style, Dan radio style, something like that. Okay, but the point I want to bring across, and I mentioned the name because a person can go and check it out for themselves. They might find the exact video. Okay, is that The message was not just about getting things. It was not about material things. It was not about temporal things. It was not keeping people trapped and bound in this illusionary world, because this world you see here is illusionary. It doesn't matter how much money you have, doesn't matter what you manifest, it's all illusion. It's not real. And that is why when you have the most important experience, which is the birth from the skull, which is true awakening, true enlightenment, which is the promise, then you will be able to teach others on the right path. Many would have stopped following Neville, and many didn't even feel pleased towards Neville when Neville started teaching the promise. Until we are seeing history repeating itself. Because there are many who are falling for the bread and fish. And so many are opportunists. You will name of Neville Goddard to hide behind their false identity. Because when they speak about Neville, they're thinking in their mind, those who are listening to them would say, well, okay, Neville, they look like him who's speaking, and Neville, they look like me who's looking or listening. And so they will support their work. And then there are the gullible ones who look like me, who would say, hey, did I really work? I believe so much in Neville Goddard. What Neville Goddard teach, it really works. And they miss the whole message. It's a message of self-realization. It's a message of coming to know who you are. It's a message of teaching you how the scripture was misused to enslave people and to control people and to promote racism. Abdullah even taught Neville Goddard that when he told him to look at the Sphinx. He even taught Neville that when he would go and buy his ticket for himself to go to the opera. And he would sit and he would teach Neville that everything that was taking part in the opera, that it was all symbolism. And everything that Abdullah looked at, it was all symbol. Even Neville said, even if you see two birds flying in the sky, it's a symbol. And so, Abdullah motive wasn't to taught Neville a one-sided message. Was a message of wholesomeness, I should say. Of total oneness. And the total oneness that I'm speaking of is not the oneness that many are using as an opportunity to get away from the divine laws that governs humanity and the laws that governs the universe. Because whatever you sow, you got to reap. Can't escape that. This truth is what was kept hidden from a people to keep them in mental slavery. And even to this day, people in my country are still held captive in mental slavery. They still believe that the Bible is literal and that the Bible is secular history. And the colonialism strategy is still being taught in the schools up to this day. And those who are behind the governments of the world, who are using dark forces, dark powers to separate and divide the people, to turn them against each other, they're still running those systems to make some people believe that they have certain opportunities over others, but these things are still keeping you bound in the illusionary world, in the world of illusion. Doesn't matter how much millions of dollars you have, you can't take anything with you. I don't care whether you are Elon Musk, or you are Jeff Bezos, or you are Warren Buffett, or you are Jay-Z, or you are Benz. I don't care who you are. Neville many times show you that these things meant nothing to him. Many times Neville will speak about people who would have gained millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, and Neville will say, so what? Even if you have $100 million, Even if you have a billion, that's so what? He even spoke about a man who had so much of millions, and someone had to say, this is the right hand, this is the left hand, now eat. Because he lost his mind. And if you haven't finished this journey and complete this journey and you die in a certain state of consciousness, you're going to wake up in a world just like this with all the problems and the situations again, over again. And you might born in a family that might not be wealthy, and you might have to go through so much struggles, but in this life over here, you was a multi-millionaire, you was a billionaire, but over in the next life, you're born in a real poverty stricken family to learn, to grow. Because we're here to learn. We're here to discover higher self. We are here to discover true love, true oneness. So when I come here, I have to speak the truth. And I know the truth does hurt, but the truth is what sets you free. You know, as I said in a previous video, never come to the Caribbean and teach what he would have taught in America. He used to teach it in the law and so on, and the price in San Francisco. He used to teach it in California. He used to teach it in New York. They had businesses throughout the Caribbean, and the businesses are still here, even in my country. The businesses are here. I do a video on it and show you the businesses. As a matter of fact, the biggest business in my island. I have so much people employed. And these people who've been employed, they went to school and they came out of school with an employee mentality. Because they still have a colonial mentality also. And then many of them are still bound up and trapped in secular Christianity. Many people in these islands do not know anything about Neville Goddard, and even in Barbados where we grew up, people do not know about Neville Goddard, what Neville Goddard taught. So there are those who are like locusts, who want to grab everything, want to eat down everything like locusts. And the China strategy, they want to teach so much about Neville, so they want to have people coming and giving them all kind of thanks and all kind of praises, but not telling the people the truth. And so the people have gathered unto themselves teachers, having itching ears, telling them what they want to hear. So what if you manifest a Lamborghini? So what if you manifest a house in Malibu, or in the hills of California? Never spoke about a man who had his big house in the hills of California that got consumed by fire, and he said what he glory in it. Never said because why he glory in it. So I have to speak the truth as one who been called and sent for this time to teach the truth and to continue the work of Abdullah and Neville Goddard, to teach both the law and the promise, because I've experienced the promise. I put the law to work in my life, and the law is working in my life even now as I speak. Therefore, I'm not going to sell myself short for views. I'm not going to sell myself short for money. But I have to speak the truth. I have to expose all the opportunities who using Neville. And many of them are using Neville based on race to get people to subscribe to them and to follow them, but they're misleading them and keeping them in further ignorance. Because the message is more about self-realization. The message is to show you the dark forces that set up certain system in the world to control everyone. That is why they're using the coronavirus to control everyone. It doesn't matter what the complexion of your skin. They say wear mask. If you're not in your right state of mind, you're going to wear mask. If they tell you you can't go and shop without a mask, and you have no true enlightenment, no true awakening, no true awareness of who you are, you're going to put up a mask because you're going to think, well, you're going to starve to death. You still be on the fair. And the reason why so much people are still grabbing this and grabbing that, and holding on to just getting this and getting that. Why? Because they're still suffering deep within some sort of fear. If you go deep within, they're still suffering from some sort of fear. Why do you think some people still holding on to opportunities that have been given to them based on race? There's a fear deep within. Everything I say, I speak from experience. I grew up in a predominant black country, but I had one experience. And that experience taught me so much. That's why I can say that. And in my country, they want to go back and open the same place that I had the experience. They want to go now and open a sandals. And the same thing going to happen again. All the prejudice and all the opportunities and everything, it's going to happen the same again. And the people are going to receive payment in the local money, and these other people who not even qualify for the job, they're going to get paid in the US or Euro or wherever country they come from. And they will be the people who lead in these other people here. These other people here in my country, they're going to wash the pots and the pans and clean the pool and work bartender and do landscaping. And so that's what they're going to do. In my case, I was a fitness trainer. And then the guests would come and they say, oh, you have the best job in the resort, because they see the rest of them with these kind of jobs. I stick to what I love. And I make sure was to educate myself. And I would have learned yoga. You see? And I walk off of that job. Tell them I'm no indented servant. I'm not a slave. I don't have slave mentality. So my brothers and my sisters, you can't accept and embrace Neville and go accept and embrace me, even if I correct you, even if I whip you. That's why I speak this way. Because if you still messed up and tied up in false identity, you get offended. I'm not here to say, oh, we are all one, we're supposed to live in love. No, I am here to speak the truth. I'm here to speak about how there's so much post-slavery syndrome still affecting the people in these parts. I'm here to say that the system is still here keeping the people bound. I'm here to say that even though I would have had the experience of my higher self and know that I am pure consciousness, I am pure awareness, experience in itself, I know that I'm conscious, just pure consciousness. I had the experience, I became one with the wind. I come into nothingness. I had that experience. But I know that I'm God expressed in a melanated body. And I need to see melanated people wake up, and for them to do so, they have to get the truth. That's why I present the 66 books of magic to them with no Jesus in it. Because it's an idol. It's a white man idol. So Neville was doing all of this teaching to expose what even his forefathers would have done, what his ancestors would have done to enslave a people. So the truth must be known. That's why many of them, they stay away from the Bible and they want to talk about more love, how to manifest this, how to manifest that, how to manifest this, how to manifest that. I don't want to sound religious, but they're afraid to use the Bible. They're afraid to say this Bible was used by people who look like me. They're afraid to say that, to enslave other people. But they're afraid if they say that, their own people won't support them. They won't subscribe to them. I don't care. I can survive. We who live down here in the Caribbean, the people down here who could survive without any money, they're always mango season, guava, there's so many fruits. You can go in the bush and you can dig wild yam to cook. You can go by the sea and you can throw a line, you can catch a fish. You don't have to compete with the rat race. You don't have to compete to see who could drive the best. I don't drive. I enjoy walking. I enjoy the sun. I love the sun. People look like me with umbrella. People bleaching their skin and they have to put umbrella. I love the sun. I'm no vampire to be running from the sun. I love the sun. I love walking. I love to stay fit. I love nature. I'm not gonna get caught up down here. I'm not gonna get chopped down here. I've been here so many times. So I have to speak the truth. I have to say to you, I am the one that Neville spoke about, that will come and continue the work. So you can accept me or you can reject me. So with that being said, my brother, my sister, I want to thank you very much. I want to say to you, if you listen to me for the very first time, and what I'm saying is really resonating with you, even if it's hurting, even if it's burning deep within you, and you're saying that this man is speaking the truth, and you're saying, I believe this man, and I want to awake, I want to come into my higher self. If you would do that, if you look beyond race and beyond nationality, and you reach this far listening to me, if this is the first time and you haven't subscribed already, I'm encouraged to subscribe so you get more videos like this, to like, to comment, or to share this message. But before I leave you, I want to let you know that this message I bring to you, that it is the single eye, yes, the single eye message of self-realization, which Matthew 6:22 says that if your eye be single, your whole body be full of light. And my brother and my sisters, hadn't it been that my whole body was filled with light? When I awake from the dream of life and come to understand that when the Bible says that you shall change from mortal to immortality in a twinkling of an eye, that twinkling of an eye is the opening of an eye. After you would have felt that great and mighty shaking, and you would hear the unearthly wind, where you would ascend like a fiery beam, and you would come out of your skull, like when a woman gives birth to a child, and you would become invisible, one with the wind. And then you will understand the resurrection. Then you will understand the truth about the virgin birth. Then you will know the lie that was told to all of humanity concerning Virgin Mary and Jesus. You will know that story and how it is all idolatry. Then you will say like me, do not let anyone brainwash or deceive you by making you believe that the symbol of the single eye above the pyramid and the US dollar, it's an evil symbol. No. It is the all-seeing eye of God in you, which is your imagination, for you will have an awakened imagination, and you will come to realize it's the eye of the mystics, the eye of the prophets, the eye of the seers, the wise ones who would go beyond humanity and come into their divinity that would not be controlled by the society. And they remind themselves by putting that symbol of such people that will come into the world, who are very rare. That's why, my brother and my sisters, I always give you the symbol of the single eye with my hand above my crown chakra, saying to you that when you have the experience, that you will come to realize that it is the rising of the S-U-N in a S-O-N, and that it is the dawning of a new day in your life. For the sun parallels the human imagination, the human imagination parallels the sun. For without the sun, there is no life and there is no light. For the sun is the giver of all life and all light. And without the human imagination, there isn't anything made that was made. Everything that has ever been made was first imagined. And everything else that ever going to be made was first be imagined. Even the money that so much crave, it was first imagined. All of technology and science, it was first imagined. Therefore, my brother and my sisters, even Psalm 84:11 tells you that the Lord thy God is a sun and a shield, and no good thing will he withhold from you. And common sense will teach you that the sun has never withheld any good thing from us. For the sun is what powers all of humanity and gave all of humanity its energy to use wisely, to use creatively. And also, you're told in Malachi chapter 4 verses 2 that the sun as in the S-U-N of righteousness shall arise in you with healing in his wings. Not a sun as in a S-O-N outside of you 2,000 years ago. No, that's a white man idol. No such man as Jesus could exist unless there first be the Son. No S-O-N can exist unless there first be the S-U-N. It's basic common sense. Therefore, my brother and my sisters, because the Son has risen in me with healing in his wings, I'm bringing healing to all of humanity by pointing each and every one to look inward to discover their real identity is your divinity. And to use your mind power, which is your solar power, your sun power, your God power, your creative power, which is actually the sexual power. Use that power to achieve your every desire. So with that, Mr. I want to say peace, love you all, and out.